Hey everyone, and welcome back to our channel. Today we're diving into a major event in India's recent history, the creation of a brand new state. Let's talk about the division of Andhra Pradesh and the birth of Telangana. If you look at a map of India today, you'll see 28 states and 8 union territories. Each one has its own unique story, culture, and journey, but maps aren't set in stone, they change, evolve, and reflect the aspirations of the people. And in 2014, one of the most significant changes in decades happened right here in southern India. A large, well-established state, Andhra Pradesh, was divided, giving rise to India's newest state at the time, Telangana. This wasn't just about redrawing borders. It was the culmination of a decades-long movement rooted in identity, history, and development. So how did this happen? What were the reasons behind this historic split? Let's rewind the clock and explore the story from the very beginning. Before 2014, if you looked at a map of southern India, you would have seen one massive state called Andhra Pradesh. It was the fifth largest state in the country, home to millions of Telugu-speaking people. This large state was broadly divided into three distinct regions. First, there was coastal Andhra, known for its fertile deltas and long coastline. Second, there was Rayalaseema, a more arid region in the south. And third, there was Telangana, a large plateau region in the northern part of the state, which included the bustling metropolis of Hyderabad. Although they were all part of a single administrative unit and shared a common language, these three regions had very different histories, economies, and even cultural nuances. This diversity within a single state would eventually become a key factor in the events that unfolded. To truly understand the division, we need to go back to 1956. This was a pivotal year in India's history when the map of the country was redrawn based on language. The idea was to create states where people who spoke the same language could live and be governed together. This was known as the States Reorganization Act. At that time, the Telugu-speaking population was split. A large part was in what was called the Andhra state, which was carved out of the Madras Presidency earlier in 1953. The other significant part was in the princely state of Hyderabad, a region ruled by the Nizam. This part was known as Telangana. The government decided to merge the Telangana region of Hyderabad state with the existing Andhra state. And so in 1956, the unified state of Andhra Pradesh was born, with Hyderabad as its capital, bringing together almost all Telugu-speaking people under one administrative roof. It was seen as a great achievement for linguistic unity, but beneath the surface, the seeds of future conflict were already sown from the very beginning. The merger was not without its concerns. Leaders from the Telangana region worried that their area, which was less developed economically and educationally at the time, would be at a disadvantage. They feared that people from the more developed coastal Andhra region would dominate government jobs, educational institutions, and business opportunities. To address these fears, a gentleman's agreement was signed in 1956. This agreement was a list of promises and safeguards for the Telangana region. It included assurances about the distribution of government revenue, jobs, and educational facilities. It also promised protections for the local population in government employment. However, over the following decades, many people in Telangana felt that the promises of this agreement were not kept. They argued that their region was being neglected. They pointed to the fact that water from rivers flowing through their land was being diverted to irrigate other regions. They felt that state funds were disproportionately invested in coastal Andhra and that jobs and educational opportunities were not being shared fairly. This growing sense of injustice and marginalization fueled a powerful feeling of regional identity. This discontent didn't just stay as quiet complaints. It erupted into a full-blown political movement demanding a separate state. The call for a separate Telangana began to gain momentum as early as the late 1960s. The first major phase of the Telangana movement saw widespread protests, strikes, and agitations in 1969. It was a powerful but ultimately unsuccessful push. However, the dream of a separate state never died. It simmered for a few decades and then reignited with even greater intensity in the early 2000s. A new political party, the Telangana Rashtra Samiti or TRS, was formed with the single-point agenda of achieving statehood for Telangana. This revitalized the movement, bringing it back to the forefront of national politics. The campaign involved people from all walks of life: students, government employees, farmers, and intellectuals. There were massive public rallies, peaceful protests, and intense political lobbying in New Delhi. The movement became a powerful expression of regional aspiration and identity, making it impossible for the central government to ignore. After years of passionate campaigning, heated debates, and political negotiations, the issue reached a critical point. The central government in New Delhi had to make a decision. It was a complex and sensitive issue with strong arguments on both sides. Supporters of a united Andhra Pradesh argued that dividing the state would create economic problems, disputes over water and assets, and set a precedent for other statehood demands across the country. On the other hand, the proponents of Telangana argued that separation was the only way to ensure justice and development for their region. After extensive consultations and facing immense political pressure from the ongoing movement, the Government of India finally made its historic decision. In July 2013, the ruling coalition announced its intention to carve out Telangana as a separate state. Following this, the Andhra Pradesh Reorganization Bill was drafted. It was a contentious piece of legislation, leading to dramatic scenes and protests in the Indian Parliament. But despite the opposition, the bill was passed by both houses of Parliament in February 2014, paving the way for the creation of India's 29th state. And so, on the 2nd of June 2014, a new state was officially born. Telangana came into existence, fulfilling a dream that many had held for over 60 years. Celebrations erupted across the 10 districts that now formed the new state. K. Chandrasekhar Rao, the leader of the TRS party who had spearheaded the movement, became the first Chief Minister of Telangana. The vibrant city of Hyderabad, which was geographically located in the heart of the Telangana region, was designated as its permanent capital. But what about the remaining part of Andhra Pradesh? The Reorganization Act included a special provision. For a period of up to 10 years, Hyderabad would serve as a joint capital for both Telangana and the new, smaller Andhra Pradesh. This was a temporary arrangement to give Andhra Pradesh time to build its own capital city and administrative infrastructure. The division was complete, and a new chapter had begun for the millions of people in both states. With the division finalized, both Telangana and the new Andhra Pradesh set out on their individual paths of governance and development, each facing its own unique set of challenges and opportunities. For Telangana, the focus was on leveraging its biggest asset, Hyderabad, a major hub for information technology and pharmaceuticals. The new government also launched ambitious projects aimed at improving irrigation for its farmers, like the massive Kalashwaram lift irrigation project, and initiated welfare schemes for its people. Meanwhile, the state of Andhra Pradesh, now without its long-standing capital, had the monumental task of building a new one from scratch. The government decided to build a brand new greenfield capital city called Amaravati on the banks of the Krishna River. A lot of effort also went into developing its long coastline, promoting industrial growth in new corridors, and setting up new educational institutions to compensate for the ones now in Telangana. The split forced both governments to rethink their priorities and craft new visions for their futures. The formation of Telangana is a powerful case study in Indian democracy. It shows how, within a large and diverse federal structure, regional aspirations can be voiced, debated, and ultimately addressed through a democratic and constitutional process. It highlights the idea that administrative boundaries are not permanent and can be redrawn to meet the needs and desires of the people. The story of Andhra Pradesh and Telangana is a reminder that identity, culture, and equitable development are powerful forces that shape a nation's geography. While the division was filled with emotion and political drama, it ultimately represents the dynamic nature of India, a country that continues to evolve. Thank you so much for watching. What are your thoughts on the creation of new states in India? Let us know in the comments below. If you found this video informative, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into history and politics. We'll see you in the next one.